Hi guys. Okay, we're going to continue our experimenting and learning how to work with pewter sheet metal. The last video I showed how to solder a little jump ring on in this orientation, right? Which I like just fine. That's if you're not going to use, a different kind of bail. So today I'm going to show how to put a jump ring on going in this orientation. And for that, once again, I'm going to use, sorry, I don't know why I always do that, a 8 gauge round sterling silver wire. I found that it's best to use the sterling silver. I did experiment with just the tinned copper wire, and I addressed that in the last video where I showed this little piece and why this works better. And we'll be using, I just pressed this today, and the other ones I sawed out the exact shape. This time I thought I would leave this on kind of like a coin looking shape. Might have been easier to attach this ring in this orientation. We'll be using lead-free solder wire of a thinner gauge. I have it listed, all the tools and supplies will be listed under the more section below the video. I could not find a 1mm lead-free solder. The only thing that I did find, all of them had the rosin core, which we don't really like to use in jewelry making. So the next size up was a 2mm, which is still much smaller in diameter than these big rolls, right? So it'll still be much smaller, and you'll flatten it the same as I demonstrated before to, give us a nice little pallion. So we'll be using that. I'll be using a little Sharpie just to help me mark on the back of this piece where I want the jump ring to go. I will be using just a little bit that's on my brush already of the Old Masters Liquid Flux for soft solder. I'll be using a little bitty tweezers to pick up the pallion. I'll be using a couple of different, whatever works for you, third hands they're called. I think I decided to go with this one because it worked better as far as placement. And then the other thing we'll be using, a step bail making plier, because I want to get, I think it was an 8mm or a 10mm. It'll be this size. So a pretty big one for something like this, as opposed to this itty bitty little one, because this was a much smaller pendant and I used a much smaller, thinner gauged chain on it. It's like, whatever. The only other thing, I'm so sorry, is I'm going to be using this honeycomb soldering block, and then just my soldering setup here, and the little Bernzomatic. It just puts out a real small little flame. You don't need much, otherwise you'll be melting that metal. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about in this video, I suggest you go back and watch the other videos I did already on working with this pewter sheet metal, because it's a whole different thing. This is the sheet metal. Then working with hard metals. This is more like soft solder, really. It is what it is soft solder in a sheet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make my loop. And get everything set up. And I will be back when I get this marked, the center on the back where I want it, because this has an ohm, so I want it, you know, centered as much as I can. So I'll be back when I get everything all set up. Now I've got it all set up. This is secure. I've got that jump ring laying as flush as I can. I did put 2 pieces of solder, one kind of off to this side, another off to this side. I'd like to get, you know, as much solder on that piece as I can. Now I'm going to start my little torch, and I'm going to be kind of fanning it, but this way, and directing, when I do come nearby, I'm going to direct the flame more up towards the top of that jump ring, not directly on the pendant, because, you know, it could melt, and you just have to really pay attention to what's happening with the metal. And I'm going to turn this down. You can see the flame is really small. You won't be able to see my action, but you'll be able to see the, you know, what's happening on the metal. So there, that one piece kind of melted. The other piece melted, but just kind of balled up. I want it to melt more. So just really being careful. Okay, that melted pretty well. I think you could see. So now I'm gonna pick it up with my pliers and quench it, and then have a look. Okay. Perfect. It worked perfect. So that solder flowed all the way. It's really on there. And that's what it looks like. Then we're gonna do the regular cleanup. I'm gonna just use a real fine grit radial wheel to kind of clean some of this dullness off of it, because this pewter is so soft that you'll, you know, start taking metal off real quickly. And if this is rough at all, like I can feel that right there, I will take this opportunity to use that radial wheel and just smooth that out too. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and show you how to do the patina and clean it up, and we'll be done. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on one of the previous videos about the patina, because I did order this Jack's Pewter Black. And because it hadn't come in yet, I was sitting here wondering if the soft solder black patina would work, and it did. I mean, it was, because again, this is the same makeup, the sheet metal, as is our solder. That's what I used on this little piece. So since I already showed that, I figured let's compare, and we'll try the actual Jack's patina for pewter. since I can't return it, it was non-refundable. Maybe it'll be more black. I don't know, but let me have a quick look. Metal must be clean, free of lacquer, oil, blah, blah, blah. To apply, either brush solution on with a bristle brush or dip entire, rinse well, water and dry. Highlight, steel wool, scotch to particular, blah, blah, blah. Okay, basically the same. Let's see. I'm just going to pour a little in the cap and set that aside, totally out of my way. And I'm going to just put my little finger protectors on. So I'm not gonna get it everywhere. Just wanna see what it's gonna do here. I think it's gonna be the same as the soft solder patina, but maybe it'll be blacker. I don't know. We shall see. I'm not gonna do the back. Looks the same to me. Doesn't seem to be any blacker. But like I say, we'll give it a go. Okay, so let me finish this. I will wash it up and buff it off, and we'll see what the end results are, and we'll compare it to the soft solder patina. Okay? All right, here is what it looks like after I washed it up, and I used a wet, dry sandpaper, real, fine grit. And honestly, I don't think it looks any different at all than just the plain Nova can for soft solder. So I will not invest in this for future purchases. This works just as well, and it's a lot less expensive. This is 8 ounces, that's 2 ounces. This is, I don't know, $13 or so. This was $16. Yeah, so, get what you want, but that's my personal opinion. And going one step further, even, you guys know, or if you're new, maybe you don't know, I really prefer using a black acrylic paint pen for my highlighting because, look at the difference. It's even this one, which most of it came off, it's so much blacker than either of these patinas. And if there's a lot of detail you're trying to pull out, such as this piece, that's my preference, is the paint pen. And then just seal it with Protect-A-Clear, and there you have it. So, thoughts, you guys? What do you think? And are you going to give this a try? Can make some cool stuff, and I will be doing some other videos showing you how you can use a hammer if you don't, have a press or want to invest in a press. You can use a hammer on some of these dies. I did do one actually. If you want to look back, it was a small piece. It helps if the die is shallow. And yeah, so it's totally doable without a hydraulic press. It's more fun with with a press and takes, less time. But the next video coming up will be on creating this type of bail. And you can see it will go on to a ring like this. I may use this same piece and just show you how I made this type of bail so that your piece can swing, you know, freely. So that's kind of going to be the last one as far as making bails, soldering for the pewter. And then one other one I'll be showing how you can sweat solder the pewter to other metal. Or you can sweat solder a bezel cup to the soft solder. So those are just a few other ones that are coming up. But anyway, I'd appreciate some comments. I'd appreciate likes. Share the video if you know anybody who's interested in working with pewter. Yeah, it helps my channel a lot. And of course, all the tools and supplies will be listed under the More button. And other ways you can contact me through my social media links, and donate to my channel if you find these videos helpful. I'd appreciate it. And thanks again, guys. Until next video, see ya.